it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, UK Independent Stampin' Up Demonstrator. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today I have got a slightly different project for you. This goes back to last week's, not yesterday's, but last week's Top Tip Tuesday, which was how to cut up the beautiful shimmer laser cut designer series paper. Specialty designer series paper, which sadly I think comes under paper basics. It does. Shimmer detailed laser cut specialty paper. It shouldn't be basic. It's not. It's much better than that. However, that's what I'm concentrating on, but I'm just keeping that open because otherwise I'm going to forget a page I need, and it meant I could hide things from you. So this is going to be slightly different because I've done some work, some prep, and I'm then going to show you how to do something with kind of what's left over. But I want to show you what I've done so far. Actually, I will remove that one for the moment. So one of the laser cut pieces that you cut out is this oval. Can you see there's the oval shape here, and it's got this die cutting frame. So I've mounted this onto a piece of Very Vanilla, having previously in Night of Navy stamped the lighthouse and the birds, and I've just added some of the matching baker's twine, which is in Night of Navy and Sahara Sand. It goes really nicely with Very Vanilla as well. So it's a really simple card. Just trimmed the Very Vanilla to the right size for the shaped piece. So there is no accurate measurement for that because it depends on how exactly you've cut your frame piece. But it makes a really quick, easy card from just one of those pieces. As ever, I have yet to put anything on the inside because, as I keep saying, what I generally do myself is I wait until I've got the card ready to go to a specific person. Then I stamp the sentiment and write on the inside of the card. So, and write on a piece of card and then stick that in the card. So when I go wrong, because my handwriting is appalling, I kind of get lost halfway through. I don't know why, but there we go. So it just means I don't waste card. But hey, so that's that one. So that's made with Sailing Home. I'm going to keep Sailing Home out for a moment. So this one is another of the cut apart sheets, and I've die cut in champagne foil and then layered with, I think it was 3 layers of thick Very Vanilla, the word Forever, and that comes from the Sweet Silhouette dies, which are on page 113 or in the bundle index or the die index. But you've got Adventure, you've got this lovely tree, there's a dandelion, which is this die here, so cuts this. And you've got Forever and Inspire as well. So it's a really lovely set. Don't just think of it as only being used with the dies and the stamps. You can just pull that word out and use it wherever you want. And again, guess what? Nothing on the inside. Then this is where we come on to the sheet of the full sheet of the laser cut paper. So this is from a 12 by 12, and I will actually pop that to one side now. So these cards, and I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, are taken from just one sheet of the laser cut paper, and all I've done is cut little areas of the paper and just adhered, just using little bits of snail. Just adhered the paper to a mat and then just trimmed the edges off. So it's a little fiddly and a bit time consuming, but it's a great way of using your paper. And some of it I've then pieced a piece in. So this was an extra piece, this was an extra piece. So I've taken some of the offcuts and just added them in where there was a bit of a gap. But let's see, let's take them through in an order. So we've got Blushing Bride, Blackberry, no, not Blackberry, Blackcurrant Bliss, Blackberry Bliss, that's right, Blueberry Bushel, Blackcurrant Bliss, Basic Grey, Early Espresso, these are all on vanilla, Gorgeous Grape, why not? Cajun Craze, this was very pieced. So this piece down the middle is one sheet, and then these bits I've just added in. And then this one, I've used the Whisper White side, just to show that you can. I really had to force myself to put glue on the shimmer side, but you can, and that's on Pacific Point. So that's 7 cards from one piece of laser cut paper, and I was left over with almost nothing. In fact, I think, apart from the edge pieces, that's probably the only piece I've got left. So it's a great way of using a whole sheet, and as I say, 7 cards. And then all I need to do is add a sentiment on the front, maybe some jewels, and they're great cards to use, great for stock. Then the other piece, which was from one of the cut aparts, is this piece. And you've sort of had a sneak peek, because what I've done is I stuck this upside down to a piece of Whisper White, and then just with a sponge roller, just rolled Pretty Peacock ink over the top, and then it still leaves me with the shimmer side to make a card. So having added the ink, I then just trimmed it down, popped it on a Pretty Peacock card mat, stamped actually from the middle the word congrats using the classic label punch, and we've got a card. So now what I'm going to do is use this piece to make another card, because there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I've used that side, but this side is still usable. So again, I've got a piece of Pretty Peacock. Just in case any of the ink showed through, I thought it would be sensible to stick with the same colour. And all I'm going to do is, with my Tombow, just add a thin line of adhesive around the outside. And whoops, that's far too much. So now the challenge is to try and move some of that. Just pop it in a few places just to hold down the middle area of the card, because otherwise you might find that it catches. But you don't have to do everywhere. As I say, just a few strategic points where it takes your fancy. Now, when I was doing the cut apart, the full sheet, I added the ink and then put the mat on top, because I was going to then trim round. For this, adding the glue and then putting the mat on top is not a great idea. You do actually have to be able to pick it up and put it in the right place, which is where the trick comes. Because what you want to be able to do is pop it down in the right place first time. That's about right. And then, as ever, turn it over to press it, because that means you're not going to move the piece you're sticking down. And there we go. Perfect. That's the area where there was a bit too much glue. And I've got my card base, but the first thing I'm going to want to do, of course, is add a sentiment. So I have a few scraps of Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to take the same congrats, which comes from the Sailing Home stamp set, and some Versamark. So first thing with Versamark is embossing buddy. Always start with your embossing buddy, then Versamark, and just stamp your congrats. And then I seem to have ink on my fingers, or glue rather on my fingers. I'm going to grab, I'm going to try doing copper, because I think it's going to go quite nicely. Don't know. So some copper embossing powder, because I don't know, I just have that feeling navy goes really nicely with copper. So I've just got this theory that Pretty Peacock might as well. So pop that away before I spill it everywhere. Grab my trusty cheese board as ever, and I'll just clip that under there. Pop my Versamark and my stamp to one side. Heat up my heat tool Always make sure it's at pretty much full temperature before you use it, and then just hold it in place and watch the magic happen. Lovely! It worked. And I think copper does work. So I'll just waft that around so that it dries, because it will smudge if you touch it too quickly. And then again with my classic label punch, which is one of my all-time favourite punches. Actually, I'm going to go definitely to one end, because if you go definitely to one end, it's not going to be wrong. If you try and go for the middle, you can end up with it not being quite right. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of very vanilla and stamp that, or punch that rather, and then find my snips, which I had just now. I've buried them, which probably means, oh, they're under the cards. That's why I can't see them. So I'm just going to snip that in half and then just add that to either end, because I think that will help make it stand out a bit. So I'll just add a little bit of adhesive to one end. And a little bit to the other end. Just try and get them evenly spaced. That doesn't look too bad. Lovely. And then this will be the perfect use for some scraps of dimensional. So 1, 2, I need a new sheet. So one dimensional and another dimensional. These offcuts are just perfect for these little sentimenty pieces. And then we can pop that, let's pop it there. And then again, that strip will help make it stand out a bit. And add that to the front of, I've got a half sheet of A4, just top fold. It's easier for photography, frankly, it's as simple as that. It just makes it easier for me to photograph the cards nicely. And just pop that on the front. And again, press the back. And then, that's probably what I need. I have got, oops, flying washi tape apparently, in here. I'm thinking I might do tone on tone. Yeah, why not? Grab my, take your pick, and pick up, come along, pick up one of these. So do 1, 2, 3. Tone on tone. Pop those back in there. Oh, and do remember, if you like the faceted gems, if you purchase the Daisy Lane stamp set from me before the 22nd of July, you'll get a free pack of faceted gems as part of your thank you kit gift from me. So do remember that. And they come out the following month. So I'm getting my, I've just placed my July order for thank you gifts, sorry, my June order for thank you gifts. So those will be coming out in a few days once I've received my order from Stamping Up. So anyway, there you go. So we've got, that's also made from the same piece. Very different feel, but obviously from the same piece. And then we've got these two also from the cut apart sheet. So that's 4 from just bits of the cut apart sheet. And then all of these 7 cards from the large sheet of laser cut paper. And you get 3 sheets of each. So masses and masses of cards that you can make. As I say, just add sentiments and extra bits and pieces to these cards and they'll be ready to go. So thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you found that interesting. If you'd like any products, they will be listed below, or you can pop over to my blog, which will have close-up photographs of probably not all of the cards, but some of the cards. And again, I'll have a list of what I've used and some very basic dimensions for how I've cut things. But yeah, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. I didn't quite hit my 7,000 by the end of June, but hey, July's a new month, so let's go for 7,000 subscribers by the end of July. That would be amazing. Thank you for those of you who have subscribed recently. It really does make a difference. It helps with other people being able to find my channel. So it really does make a difference to me. Thank you very much indeed, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.